Hello everyone and welcome to MNC Today's special edition with me, Amelia Yahya. For the next 30 minutes, we'll present you how traditional Indonesian fashion and Muslim fashion are reigning in Indonesia. The goal to turn Jakarta as one of the world's major fashion hubs is serious, as government officials, particularly the Ministry of Creative Economy and Tourism, have set their sights on elevating the country's apparel industry to become one of the world's fashion capitals and a springboard to accelerate economic growth. And of course, one of the much sought after traditional fashion is undoubtedly reigning in Indonesia's fashion world. As the world's largest island nation, Indonesia's fashion scene is undoubtedly vibrant and colorful. And the interest in local textiles and accessories is growing more than ever. And its traditional fabrics and garments such as batik, tenun, songket, ikat, and sarung highlights the country's proud and diverse cultural heritage. More and more fashion designers are showcasing their alluring works with locally made garments through some astonishing creations. While some focus on hand-woven batik creations, many others focus on silk tenun, or otherwise known as traditional woven cloth. And many more showcase their prowess in turning traditional textiles from South Sumatra, such as songket Palembang and tenun blongsong, into modern yet stylish outfits. The Indonesian government has set its sights on elevating the country's apparel industry to become one of the world's leading fashion hubs by 2025 and a springboard to accelerate economic growth. The strategy will involve the Indonesian Fashion Designers Association and the Ministry of Creative Economy and Tourism, the Ministry of Trade, the Ministry of Industry, and the Ministry of Cooperative and Small and Medium Enterprises. Between them, they will be tasked with helping to develop local expertise so that fashion producers are better able to deliver products for global consumers. This will include design and trend forecasting, production, material development, marketing, distribution, and many more. Indonesia is trying to increase export sales for its neighboring countries in ASEAN. It exported a total of $13.4 billion in garments and textile products in 2011. However, a 5% fall in exports has plagued 2013. Now, to have Indonesian fashion designers create a fashion line with traditional Indonesian fabric and pattern, such as batik, tenun, or ikat, is common. But how about if the fashion designer is from London? Next, let me introduce you to London-based fashion designer Martha Ellen, who has professed so much love to Indonesia. Her collections boast finely tailored fashion masterpieces of authentic Indonesian pattern tenun and fabric ikat.
There are a lot of designers from around the world with their well-known brands such as Gucci, Versace, Louis Vuitton, and so on. But there is one designer from London that uses woven fabric or kain tenun that originated and handmade from Bali, Indonesia. Let's take a look.
Fashion designer Martha Ellen is not an Indonesian. She is from London. However, everything she knows about fashion, she learned here in Indonesia. At her studio located in Kemang, South Jakarta, her latest collections are feminine and sophisticated, include finely tailored fashion masterpieces in a rainbow of weaves or tenun and ikat fabric. The structured and symmetrical lines of her garments are all authentic Indonesian pattern tenun and fabric ikat, forming the basis of Martha's signature ready-to-wear style.
And in England, we don't have anything like it. It's really unique. I love the color. I love the way that it's handmade. Handmade by these women that have been perfecting a craft for a long time. So the reason I chose to use it was to be able to do something positive. If you build a company or build a line, it's nice to use something or make something positive that you're sustaining a craft.
Originally from London, Martha decided to give up her career in advertising and fulfill her dreams of creating something of her own and a new life in Indonesia. Martha, long impressed by the vibrant arts community in Jakarta, decided to enroll in a fashion course at Esmod Fashion School in South Jakarta.
Sudah 4 tahun. Yeah. So I studied first and then di Jakarta. Yeah. And then I did some work experience with some designers, and then I worked with a designer, and then I decided to make my own label.
Within a few weeks, thanks to her talent, Martha was recruited to help out at the Jakarta Fashion Week. She also interned with Indonesia's best fashion designers, Ali Karisma and Jeffrey Tan, who both encouraged her to establish her own label.
What's the well, mainly the motif actually. I like to really start with the fabric, and depending on the motif, design around it. But then also architecture. I like architecture. So you can see probably some of my pieces are quite structured, simple in design aesthetic, but have some details that are from about 2 years. Yeah. There's so many people wanting to really develop it as Jakarta is a fashion capital, and there's a lot of collaboration, a lot of people really working together, helping each other, and yeah, it's nice to be part of that. That was one of the reasons I chose to be based here. Actually, was to be part of an emerging market and somewhere where there's so much going on, and a lot of culture, a lot of art, a lot of film, everything. Yeah.
With a better understanding of both designs and sales, Martha felt ready to establish her own label called Me in 2011. As for now, she is also looking to produce 2 lines of clothing, one casual everyday line under the name Me, and another made-to-order line for special occasions under the name Martha Ellen. Both lines will continue to use tenun ikat, a textile Ellen first fell in love with when she discovered it during her internship in Bali.
These are some of the masterpieces that the designers created. So kain tenun or woven fabric that the designer is using is very creative and eye-catching. Would you like to buy one?
And now to meet the London-based fashion designer herself, we have Martha Ellen in the studio today. How are you?
Hello, selamat malam. Yes, I'm good. Thank you.
You're wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
And Martha, many of our viewers must want to know, how long have you been living here in Indonesia?
4 years.
4 whole years?
Yeah.
And what made you fall in love with Indonesia and our fashion scene?
I was doing my internship whilst I was at Esmod. You have to go and do a 3-week internship. So I was doing that in Bali with Ali Karisma, and actually somebody asked me to make a dress for them. So I went to go and have a look at the local market and see what was there and what kind of fabric I could use. And that's when I first saw all the sarongs, the tenun ikat, the weft ikat. So that's when I first bought my first sort of local fabric, I suppose. And then ever since then I've been enamored by it. Yeah. So
was it love at first sight?
It was a sort of wow. Okay, that's really interesting. That would be interesting to work with. So, yeah.
Your collection has been dominated by ikat and tenun. Why not batik?
Batik is nice too. I think I always like to do something a little bit different. And I like the way that the motifs are really strong and graphic with most of the tenun ikat designs, which means that you can. I mean, what I try to do is use the motifs to really enhance the shape of a dress, or actually use that as the sort of design, the basis for the design, really. I mean, it would be nice to do some things with batik. Just wanted to focus on one really, and make that the important feature. The running through the line. Yeah.
And Martha, there are definitely not many foreign fashion designers
True,
who are
yes.
actually based in Indonesia, in
Think so.
Jakarta, let alone those with the collections that are dominated by our traditional fabrics such as tenun or ikat.
Yeah.
How has the experience been?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, never a dull moment here, definitely. I never would have thought I'd be doing this. Not something that I always dreamed about doing, but I always wanted to do something creative. Yeah, pleasure to be able to do that here with such vibrant fabrics and interesting people. Yeah, constantly meeting interesting people, and it's such a great place to collaborate with people, and so much talent here. So.
And
Yeah.
could you maybe share a little bit with us on your most famous or most memorable experiences?
Most memorable experiences, gosh. Actually, it gets quite hard to remember because there have been so many and so many interesting, challenging and fun experiences. During my first show was an experience. I think the most nervous I've ever been for anything. That was interesting. Being part of Bright Spot was a great experience. It's such a great community. They've got such a great following. It's nice to be part of that. Building my shop. Yep, where a sink fell off the wall. That was a bit of a downer that day, but yeah, there's some funny things that happen. I think, yeah, one of the most memorable moments was finding a market with so much ikat. It was like being a child in a candy store. You know, it was just fantastic. So much colour, so much variation. Yeah, that was great.
And Martha, of course, I'm sure it's not all fun and games, especially being a fashion designer here, like a foreign fashion designer here in Indonesia.
Yeah.
What are the obstacles or challenges that you've faced along your journey?
Well, I think I mean when you try to make your own business, it's full of challenges. I think one of the hardest thing is being your own boss. Even if you have partners and other people working with you. Essentially, when you're creating something, nobody's telling you what to do at the beginning of the day. You have to really set the direction, set the whole plan for the year, for the collection, for and every day. So that can be challenging because you don't always know what to do for the best for some things. Sometimes it's very clear, but sometimes you have to work at things. So I think every probably new label would find that. Yeah, I think being foreign here, sometimes people think you're a tourist. Most of the time if I go to the market myself, most people think that I'm a tourist, and that's sometimes a little frustrating.
Do they try to rip you off maybe with the prices?
No, not always. I think the fabric knowledge isn't always
you must
always
have surprised them with your knowledge of tenun and ikat, though.
Yeah, I think so. So with it's funny when I find myself explaining how to make it, the process to some local friends, and I was amazed that they didn't really know everything that was behind it, and that it was handmade. It wasn't a print. It wasn't mass produced, and it is something that's very much part of Indonesian culture. So that's quite funny. I think people are surprised that sometimes but I think that's because I'm not from here, it is interesting. We don't have that.
And Martha, we have to go into a commercial break for now. And next, let us bring you another line in fashion in Indonesia, the Muslim fashion. So stay tuned.